Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our show and your own screen. Today is again CRMKonvo time, and we are very grateful that you joined us, and we are grateful that we have a special guest today, one of the early birds, so to say, who was one of our first guests in our starting period, Suvish Viswanathan. Suvish Viswanathan, and I'm in the affordable situation. I can call him Suvish, so I'm not practicing his last name, which is a mistake. Suvish, we are very happy that you joined us in again, and I would like to start with some introductory words. As you started your career as a software developer, later moving into marketing leadership roles, including head of marketing for India and Asian at ADP. Today, you serve as head of marketing for UK and Europe at Zoho, and you drive the growth and brand presence across the region. And you are leading lately, after the company's expansion in the DACH market, you have grown, and you have now own sales representatives. And you explained me when we met in Mainz at your yearly summit that it is one of the strategic approaches that you would like to better serve the potential and existing customers, also with your own sales representatives and folks and people. In this episode, we are looking forward to explore together with you how you bridge technology and marketing, what your vision for CRM in Europe is, and what businesses can learn from Zoho's approach to customer experience, industry solutions, and regional growth. Suvish, welcome to our floor, and what have I forgotten and missed?
Thank you, Ralph and Thomas, for inviting me. I don't think you have forgotten anything. You have given a sufficient sort of introduction. Thank you very much for that. I'm humbled.
Good.
Really, nothing forgotten.
Yes.
You're improving.
Being here in Germany and sitting in the Frankfurt area and following your path to Germany very carefully and closely, like Thomas as well, we even met during Corona time when you were starting and planning in Essen, where you planned to position your headquarter, and I went then to your first bridgehead to Utrecht and visit your colleagues there, and I caught my first doses of Corona. Now,
yes.
I remember still that you said, "Oh, Ralph, you are brave. They have a real problem there." I said, don't worry. Now, having said that, I was stunned that you have chosen a location in Germany which has a lot of interesting history. So I would love to learn a bit about, and I'm curious why you have chosen Essen as your German headquarter. Can you share the story a bit with us? I had the idea that verticals might even work in a digital transformation process if a region is in such a process, even a bit more charming when the location screams formally for a reinvention, like the complete Ruhrgebiet, as we say, is in fact in that process. So what was your real driver?
Yeah, no, thank you for asking this. Although this is a question I get asked every time I meet someone from a customer base or even from the industry, right? This is, I think you're right. Essen is probably not the first choice for a software firm. And rather I would broaden the geography here. Ruhrgebiet, right? So that's how you
Exactly.
Ruhrgebiet. Yeah. And I think there's something to do with the history there, right? So this region has been the industry mining powerhouse of this entire, I would say, region. Not many decades ago, and since then, the city and the region has taken this transformative path to sort of make it more green, modernize it with the industries and things like that. I think SN also won the Green City Award maybe some time back. I don't exactly remember the year. For us, the reason to choose this city, and you guys know Zoho quite well now, worldwide. Of course, we are not in any of these mega cities or the tier one cities. We try to be in a more humbler place, where things are a lot more approachable in terms of talent, in terms of our own colleagues' cost of living, and just to bring up the family things, right? So that was one area, one reason, right? So find a city which is full of talent. There's university, there is connectivity, right? But it's also closer to the larger, let's say, hubs, right? So SN is closer to Cologne, Dusseldorf, very close to Netherlands, where our some of our regional leadership also, they are based there. So it's easier for commute, easier to collaborate, and Germany gives that advantage that it's quite well connected, so it doesn't really matter where you are, and especially when you're working in SaaS cloud. I mean, it barely matters, right? So what we are seeing in the city also with the officials and other authorities, right? So there is that drive to change the image of the region, right? There are a lot of startup associations. There is startup summits. There are events. There are companies sort of willing to help. So we see a good ecosystem here, and something that we are now sort of rooted. And last time when you came, Ralph, we were in a smaller office.
Yeah.
The next you're visiting here, happy to welcome you. Thomas was here a couple of months ago, right? So happy to host you in our new office.
Yeah, always a pleasure being there.
And it is a clear sign growth has been your friend and partner, such as you have been accepted, appreciated, and that was the natural approach with the growth of the team, the growth of the customer size, the growth in all, that you needed a new larger office.
Yes. Yeah, we took up this new space earlier this year. We have grown as a team. I think last time you visited, we were just a bunch of people, handful of people. Now we have at least other associated departments within the company: your sales, marketing, customer support, account management. We've also got a few people for Manage Engine, which is our sister division. So it's I think it's we are probably on the right path.
Yeah.
Talking about paths, that leads us directly into our topic. I mean, Europe is very well compartmentalized. Probably is probably the wrong word, but it's a group of small countries, small cities, small businesses. So everything is smaller than in the US, for example, or probably much like in India, actually. So Now, in order to scale there, it needs partners. In order to scale, it needs to have the right offering. And that spells not only AI, as everybody needs to spell it in these days, but also industries in terms of fast adoption, fast time to value, however you define time to value, and partners, because no one can know it all, except Ralph and I probably. But then we are analysts, so we by definitions we are know-it-alls. So you're talking about partners there. How did partners react to this need and shift of Zoho from having a big horizontal platform into verticalizing it?
Yeah. No, I think it's a development in progress, right? So and if you look at it, just the way SaaS built up has happened in the last 2 decades or so. We've got these broad strokes of SaaS tools, whether it is CRM or your HR tool or finance tool, whatever those tools are for different domains. And over the period of time, each of these industries and micro industries, they realize their processes are quite different from standard set of tools that are available in the market.
Mhm.
And there came the need to sort of customize it. Maybe it is the name of the module, name of the button, or the messages that shows up, and things like that. But later, the need to completely customize a particular CRM or a ERP, it was felt, because when you have targeted vertical solutions, then you see the experience is quite different. The task that you could achieve on those vertical solutions is much more faster. It's more robust. There is compliance angle to it. All of this is then tailor made for that industry. Instead of you thinking and building on your own, you have an expert who's building the tech expertise, and then there is somebody else who's bringing the vertical expertise. So we are sort of marinating both. Having said that, this is not new, right? So we always had ERPs that are specific, that are vertical specific. We had CRMs that are vertical specifics. But then the question we asked is how much hard coded these vertical solutions are from the past, right? So, and then how you can sort of decentralize a lot of these hard coded things, so you bring the power back to the end user wherever you want to further customize the platform or the product should be able to do. So for our partners, they welcome this approach, because they can add a premium on top of what we offer, bring their expertise, and sell it as their own solution, right? Many of our partners, I wouldn't say many, some of the partners are, let's say, they have expertise in real estate, for example. One of the partners in Europe, in the Benelux area, they have the expertise in real estate, and they built this real estate CRM, which is not just vertical but also localized, right?
Yeah.
It's for the Belgian or the Dutch market from a localization standpoint, but verticalized to real estate. And this expertise Zoho couldn't bring, because we cannot be there in 1,000 industries in 100 different countries, right? And that's where partners kind of welcome this move, wherever they think they can bring that value point.
I was surprised when I learned that you had a very sustainable expertise, not only in utilities and energy, but also you had a partner who developed a solution for cemeteries,
Yes,
Waldfriedhof.
yes,
And
yes.
that was award winning on one end, and on the other end, it was very exciting seeing over a period of just 3-4 years how
Yeah.
much your community has grown and your partner expertise has grown. And this is also shown from my observation and the verticalization, and that you have now strong bridgeheads in Austria and you have some in Switzerland, where I was really positively stunned and flashed. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm assuming that you met them at Zoholics.
Yeah.
First time when we heard about this use case, it was back in 22, I think, when we had the Zoholics in Frankfurt. We spoke to this partner, and we didn't know there is a vertical like that. I mean, these are the learnings from the market, right? You would see this as one of opportunity, but then when you talk to the people in the industry, you see there's a micro vertical for just that, and then your solution is able to adapt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talking about verticals, and you just said something like hard-coded. Yeah, I actually used that word. So, which is, I think, a bit of a risk when it comes to industry solutions. Or putting it even stronger, if there is something that's called a best practice that is wired into an application, for every business that adopts it, it's taking away differentiation. It might take away their competitive advantage, even because, well, everybody does quote unquote best practice, means average. So how do you consider avoiding that?
Yeah, I think when we are talking about vertical solutions, right? So there is some percentage. Let's say I'm giving a generic figure here. 80-90% of the tool that is standardized to that vertical, right? And then there's that 10-15%, which is very specific to that company, which is where your workflows are built, which is where your email communication, your privacy compliance settings and everything, they are built. And that's the last mile, which then I think determines what is the customer experience you want to give to your customers, and that becomes the differentiator. Your When you look at the software architecture or the architecture of this vertical platform, there are many things that are standard at the bottom of the core of the architecture, right? So whether it is a CRM application or whatever different domain specific application you're looking at, and then on top of that there are orchestration layer, there is AI layer, there are compliances and all of that. But then there is last bit, which is left to the customers to define the process, to define the workflows, to define what could be the communication strategy, what could be the I don't know, a loyalty program, for example, right? And these are the things that are very unique to the business, which I don't think we can standardize, right? So as a vendor, we cannot, and that's entirely up to the brand or the customer to take. I think our responsibility there is can my tool adapt to my customer's needs, and how much I can make it easier for the customer to customize, right? And I think that's the direction we are taking, right? From the beginning, adaptability, customization has been part of our tools from the beginning. It's been the development philosophy. Yes, we would have taken maybe more time than the others, but or we would have taken a different approach. But that underlying philosophy sort of remains with the development we have been having. So yeah, hard coded for up to a certain extent. After that, it is all about adapting.
Now, adapting hard coding to some extent opens up the question is, well, first, generically, to what extent? And more specifically, what to hard code and what to not? Because, I mean, for every vendor, there's the risk that they are optimizing for the wrong thing. And Zoho is one of the good ones there. You are delivering and talking a lot of value, and you're living value. So, but how do you avoid the risk of hard coding stuff, add stuff that actually is good for you and not so much for the customer? I ask that knowing that you are doing it.
Yeah,
While doing removing stuff or not adding stuff that is rather good for you than for your customer, to be precise.
yeah, I think this is where I spoke about marinating to expertise, right? So the expertise of building the tool and bringing the industry knowledge, right? So we bring our expertise of building the tool, which is about adding, deletion, modification, right? Of features, of capabilities of the product, right? And then a partner, or a partner could be of different shapes and size, right? So whatever definition we want to put in, they bring in their sort of expertise on the industry part, right? I'll give you an example. We have um, this customer in Portugal. They have car dealership. They are a car dealer of multiple brands, and they are Portuguese based, but they have dealership in Northern Europe, in Southern Europe, Iberian region, and in few African countries. They started as a regular CRM, but over the period of time, as they expanded into multiple regions, they could see what are the compliance need, right? So a compliance needs in Africa is completely different from what is needed in Norway or Sweden, right? And they started customizing those ends of the product. Today they are a car dealer by a profession, but then they have built the system that they're so comfortable with that they want to launch this as a solution to other car dealers, right?
Cool.
They have customized it too much. They have customized it so much to different regions, different use cases, because they really understand the dealership market, right? And this is the part where the platform itself at the base layer is coded to take the contacts from different customers at different dealership, so that these contacts are segregated. They have the compliance angle taken care by the vendor. The security of the data is taken care. But then the final layer, where the CRM or the CX tool has to be used by a car dealer, is completely customized by them, because we don't know how a car dealer would work. That's the combination of what needs to be like a sacrosanct part of the system, and what are the ones that are movable, right? It's like the Lego pieces that you could have.
I'm
I mean,
impressed.
Lego pieces kind of reminds me, right? So it is like Lego pieces if you look at it, right? So you have even for the AI module, right? So when you use a platform, you have so many different small microservices which we make it available for the customer. You want a car dealer guy to to use an OCR microservice, right? You have that as a microservice available. So then you can build it in the service. So that's the, you have all these pieces available. Make the shape you want, but as a vendor, we will make sure that those Lego pieces are robust. They fit with each other. They have the right colors and all of that. That's our job.
Mhm. And the partners,
But
yeah, well, fits the logo behind you, right? Lego pieces that fit to each other and are of different colors.
yeah,
Well, they're all of the same shape, though.
yeah,
Yeah.
Now, looking at it the other way around. So, what we want to do is improve the users and the customers' experience by providing industry solutions and by having your partners provide industry solutions. In that process, it surely sometimes didn't pan out or didn't really work out. So, well, everybody makes mistakes, right? It's all, to some extent, it's based on assumption, trial and error, and learning and improving on that. So, what are your learnings from, well, these types of quote unquote failures? Lacking a better word.
yeah. No, I think. See, we are in a learning phase, Thomas.
Yeah.
We this whole platform approach is not very long ago we kind of introduced to the market, right? So we are still in a learning phase where more and more partners, as they are building the solution on the platform,
Yeah.
we are realizing, oh, we could do it this way, we could do it better. One of the things that we are learning quite hard is documentation, for example, right? So we as we are giving the platform to the partners, documentation plays a key role for them to sort of know where to fix what and things like that, right? So, and then documentation combined with localization kind of acts. There's a compounding effect to it, and that's the. I think this is a learning. Documentation is a learning. Even on the technology front, some of these things we may have brought in from the experience from the past, but we'll have to tweak those things, whether it is on a localization front. And I think there's a lot of aspects of localization which we are learning, because most of our development is centered in one place, and then we sort of, push it across the world. But as different parts of the world use our systems to build new systems, we learn from those rollouts. Right? So it's a learning process.
How does the learning get back into the process or the system?
You mean how does the learning?
I mean, you're learning something, things that went well, check. You just observe whether and how you can do even better.
Yeah.
Then there are things that work so means they need some improvement, and then there are others that really need an improvement.
Yeah.
So this may be on process side, it may be on the collaboration side, and it may be on the system side.
Yeah.
What process do you have in place in order to find out where it is and to therefore create a better industry solution for your clients?
Yeah.
Or have it created by a partner?
Yeah, so it is the same approach that we have taken for the products for the last 30 years, right? So we have several touch points on the ground today than what we had, let's say, 5 years ago. And these endpoints of our operations act as eyes and ears to the market. For example, we are here. I'm here in Germany, and we do so many activities on the ground to collect the feedback, or at least the customers and partners, they have us as a sounding board here, uh, to voice their feedback, and we are the connecting bridge then between the market and the teams back in back with the products or platforms, whatever, right? And there is now, because there is this bridge. Earlier, if it was just one team talking to 100 customers or 100 partners, today there could be more channelization of it, because we are, our transnational localism has kind of taken a very mature stage right now, where we have teams, sizable teams across major geographies, to sort of feedback to the product teams and bring the changes that are needed for that market.
Now, there are at least 3 dimensions for experience. One is kind of, well, everybody has it now, AI. The other one is industry solutions.
Yeah.
And a third one is probably localization, because I mean, in a region that is as diverse as Europe, probably localization matters even more than industry. So which of these levers do you think is these 3 levers, or add a fourth, fifth one if you have one, are the most important in your eyes to deliver a great solution?
Yeah. I think these 3 levers that you mentioned, AI, localization, and verticalization, we cannot take it in isolation, right? We will have to take it together, and have to be ready with all 3 components in it, right? I'll go back to this example of, I mentioned about this Belgian real estate thing, right? Now, that is the right example to your question here. There is verticalization, which is real estate, right? There is localization as well, because you need to have the system in Dutch, in Flemish, or French, depending upon which part of Belgium you're talking to. Um, uh, you need to have localization of currency, the process, the messages, and all of that. And if you have that vertical solution without localization, it won't work. And if you have local solution without the verticalization, it won't work, right? So it needs to be there. And then AI is just an intelligence on top of it, right? So AI is kind of today, as you said, you have it everywhere, and you would have heard many of us at Zoho saying the best is when you don't see it is there. It just hides in, right? And so I would say from prioritization standpoint, localization has been on our list for a long time now. Have we got there already? Maybe not. We have a lot to improve in terms of localization. Verticalization is a fairly new concept, maybe 3-4 years into the process, where we have platform, people can verticalize it, and AI, as you know, it's been
just needs to be there.
Just needs to be there. It's table stakes.
Yeah. So now they are equally important, or which lever is the longest or gives the most leverage?
See, there is, I would say localization is more important in terms of getting into the market and sustaining in the market, right? Thriving in the market. Verticalization, yes, it's needed. However, there is also a lot of industries who are happy customizing a standard offering, right? Because uh, at the end of the day, what we believe is how much you're making it easier for people to sort of customize on their own, right? I was talking to a customer very recently who was using one of our, let's say, um, competitor product, right? They one of the large ones, and they had to, for even for building dashboards, they had to consult their partner because you had to build SQL queries, and you have to do a lot of other customization to get a custom dashboard, right? Now, and this is not something is 2025, right? So
No.
uh, that's 10 years, right? So but then this is a lot of it has become norm in the industry.
Yeah.
And new players are challenging it, which is a really good thing, right? And us as Zoho, we have always been advocates of keeping things simple. So I would say verticalization is important. However, I think more what takes the precedence here is how much easy I'm making for my customers to customize the product according to their processes. I think that could be the first step towards making it more vertical.
We were in the process when you started with the easier customization of the interfaces and with the user interface with Canvas, and we in the instant we said, that's an ideal opportunity to get verticals and to make it happen. And from that one, and an honest question on your own observation, which vertical is in Germany in the moment the most favorite one, which is good selling or has a high reception?
Yeah, so I don't have one particular vertical in mind, but I mean, we have mostly been industry agnostic, but we are seeing good traction in energy sector. We are seeing good traction in I would say services sector as well, and there is an uptick in med tech sector too, medical technology sector.
Yeah.
I would say healthcare, but medical technology, right? So, I think the reason what we are looking at is more of these industries sort of wakes up to digitalization, and the need for more nimbler, more adaptive tools. They are open to let's say unknown vendors in the market, right? They're open to experiment with vendors with good track records. So we could see that, and that's something which is in favor, because you are not just going with the usual suspects, but you're ready to explore more, whatever gives you more value, right? Yeah.
And it is fascinating that you mentioned the medicine technology, as there are some large ones in
Yes.
Braun-Melsungen, and quoting, for instance, some of your competitors and utilizing them and having the hurdles. And especially when it comes to affordability, and that one with the department is starting off a kick project or just proof of concept, it is very easy to do this with Zoho instead of with competitive products.
Yeah.
Or if I recall, for instance, Dräger, a long time consultancy customer I know very well by a colleague, who is in that medtech area, and he says it's always the need, the pain, and if you understand the vertical and the need of the salespeople and the marketing people, if it's pharmaceuticals, medicine technology, or the others, or analytical instruments like AVL, something like this, and you know the game, you know the wording, and you can easily assist, then you are the first in the row, which is the one they would love to try, because they need competition and they love to take the opportunity. And having said that, where do you see the difference between, for instance, the adaptability in Spain, France, England, the UK, the Netherlands, and Germany? Where are the easier customers in their flexibility or in the compliance needs?
I think you know the answer for the compliance needs.
I would answer the one with the hardest. There I have a clue. Yeah, but the easiest.
No, I don't think we can. At least I don't think I can. At least put a general statement there, because each customer needs, we see it quite different irrespective of the country they are coming in from, or they're based in, because we are seeing increasingly customers are also multi-country operations, right? They have presence at least across Europe, if not globally. Across the ocean, you have UK companies having operations in Europe and vice versa. And from that angle, I would say it is based on the customer rather than where they are operating in. As far as I think the needs are concerned, compliance needs again is sometimes it's industry specific. Some of the industries, as you know, sensitive industries have stricter compliance needs versus, let's say, more liberal industries, right? But for us with Zoho, we cover compliances to a great extent. And if we realize that we don't have compliance for certain, because you have so many certifications and compliance for each industry, you realize that okay, there is a need for it, then we go for it. And I think we have now sort of got used to getting new compliance certificates and processes in place.
That's cool. And from the fun aspect, where is it easier to win a customer? In Spain, in Valencia, where I by accident found your office, as I looked out of my hotel room and I saw a big Zoho sign.
Okay.
Or in Essen or the German-speaking region?
I mean, Germany is growing quite well for us. So I guess there is definitely a strong pull that we are seeing from the market for Zoho, which is, I think it's also the reason, like I mentioned earlier, as industries are gearing up towards digitalization, they are challenging their existing players, and they see Zoho as a credible value vendor, right? And with what we are seeing, interestingly, for Germany and the dark market is, customers when they, or potential customers when they come to us with their problems and they try, they have genuine problem to solve, and they see Zoho as a credible vendor. So they have done their homework. So we are just facilitating the conversation, right? The customers here, they would know, okay, these are my problems. Your product can solve 5 of these. what is the status of the next 3, right? So this is how direct conversations happen. And I've seen that even at events that we do. In some of the other markets, maybe it's a slightly longer or a different process where the evaluation is a lot assisted with us in the picture. But we are geared towards both markets, so it doesn't really matter.
Looking at it from a slightly different angle, one of your superpowers, so to say, is the operating system of the business or for the business, which means unification and deep integration, which may imply horizontalization. In how far does verticalization contradict this strive to have something that is deeply unified and harmonized from an architectural point of view and from a delivery point of view? I mean, the logistics seem to be quite interesting on that one.
Yeah, no, it is. So if you look at the premises for this operating system that we say is, you have one solution that it's basically a bucket of apps, right? You choose whatever you want, and then the app is ready. You activate it. You may have to do some additional connection points between the apps, but the basic integration is ready to be used. And when you build a platform with Zoho, the Zoho as a platform, and you build a vertical solution on top of that, you are utilizing those connections that are built. You're just building a different beast with it, right?
Yeah.
So it's just, it has taken a different shape and form, but the powers remain the same. So if I have to say, Zoho One is one way we built the offering with our apps. With our platform, you could build a different kind of a product, but the underlying infrastructure, the connections, the integrations remain as it was here. It's just different. It just takes a different form. So it's obviously, that's why I said, right? So with if we are trying to unify and build a solution to the market, it will be built with the knowledge limitations that we have. But when you give bare metal, Lego blocks, as powerful as that, you build what you want, right? So we have taken care of those basic elements that should be there for you to build a block. Yeah.
Back to, because I'm still not really sure about it. When you are building a vertical on best practices, given that you keep the platform intact, which is, well, part of the core competency of a software company to ensure that. Now, when you are building this vertical solution and you are basically building processes, or have your partner build processes, they tend to serve silos processes, I mean. Because, well, it's easier to sell, it's easier to argue. This is what department A is doing. This is department B is doing, and this is how we structure it in our offering. So, don't you stifle innovation with that?
No,
for the business, for them, not for you, for them.
Yeah, of course, but I wouldn't say so, right? Because again, it goes back to that hard coding part, right? So if you have to take a look at our CX as a platform, right? We of course have a bundled solution, which is CRM Plus, as you know, which is our standard offering, which we call it as CX, right? And then you have the platform where you have those building components of ticket management, of contacts, lead, the campaign, email campaigns. All of these are different modules which we provide as part of the platform. Now the partner will probably build a CX platform for, I don't know, let's say an e-commerce industry, right? Uh, so there will be some standardization on that, which is, let's say, for an e-commerce industry, you need to have shipping, you need to have inventory, you need to have consent management in place, all of those different things, right? And then that standard solution will be put up as an e-commerce CX platform, whatever. And but when an e-commerce company takes it up, then there is that top layer where you need to build processes for that company, which is that innovation at the last mile, right? So there is that innovation, if you look at it, happening in different stages. One is where we are breaking down our system to provide as modular platform for the partner. The partner is building the innovation that is needed to differentiate themselves with other platforms, other partners in the e-commerce industry, so they could mix and match things. And then there's an e-commerce company that has the power today of a platform that is built for their industry but can be customized for their company. So it's if you look at it, the innovation is then split into three stages versus the previous where innovation was just limited to us, right? So us, as we provide CRM plus, okay, what more? I may be able to add more blueprints, I may be able to sort of change the color of the button and things like that. But this is the innovation goes much deeper. It brings your vertical expertise, it brings your company expertise, and your tool can adapt to your needs.
So still it needs some architectural or governance guidelines / guardrails
Yes.
to make sure that whatever is built add-on
Yeah.
is not breaking the core.
Yes.
Or is not breaking the core. It's probably hard to break the core itself, but to break CX, to have some totally unrelated UI, for example. So how do you? I don't want to say enforce that, but encourage it.
Yeah. So see, there is certain guardrails that are there, whether it is in terms of infrastructure, security, the monitoring part of it, and certain services guardrail, right? So your access management, your let's say the AV component or WMS or your compliance component. These are certain standard, I would say, guardrails that we provide as a tool, so that your tool is not, irrespective of whoever is building on top of it, these things are not compromised, right? Now, what a customer, or what a platform, or rather what a partner could build on top of it, let's say for a CX thing, I don't think we can put a sort of rule there, because then if a CX has to be built, a CX platform has to be built for a particular industry, then it has to be built as per the needs of that industry, right? As long as it doesn't compromise on the core values of the system, which is the security, the compliances, the privacy, the quality of the output. Or let's say if your CX platform uses an AV platform, then that quality of audio video should not be compromised, because then it impacts the quality of the product, the brand perception, right? So those are some of the things which comes as a standard offering and something that you should not compromise. The other area which can be customized, they should be able to. Who defines CX, for example, right? Now CX has to be defined by the customer.
Mhm. Well, your customer's customer, to be precise.
Exactly.
Which makes it highly fascinating. How do you, I don't want to say enforce against, but encourage that the outcomes that you and your partners are satisfying those customers, the end users?
Yeah, I think the proof is in the pudding, right? So if the customers are unhappy, they'll voice their opinion, right? And they have been,
Mhm.
right? So we have quite an open ecosystem. I mean, both of you have attended Zoholics. You have attended conferences. So we are quite open in terms of taking questions. We don't have prepared list of questions or audience, right? So and that's what I think one of your question, Thomas, right? So how do you learn? And this is that process, right? So we don't claim we have a perfect system out there, but it's an evolving system. Yeah, I think as long as we fit into their definition of CX or EX or whatever you call it.
Now you
Okay.
Yeah. I'm talking so much.
I just was wondering, because we are close to the hour, what is your expectation? What are your wishes to be in 5 years from now on the area of CX, bringing it forward, on the area of the Zoho growth, on the own company and subsidiary in Germany, and with the partner ecosystem?
That is one of the job interview questions, Rahul. No, but I will answer. It's a good question. I don't want to put a timeline to it because we generally don't do it. Um, but I think our objective is quite clear, that we want to grow in this region, and grow organically, right? So this is we are not on treadmill here to grow. Um, and what I mean by organically, it could be considered as being lazy, but for us, the organic growth is putting the right people, right plans in place. I mean, if you look at just our partnership ecosystem, right? 5 years before from now, it has grown. It has grown substantially across the region. We have more premium partners than ever before, and we see that partners, and not just at the scale that we have today, but the bigger ones as well. They are keen to learn more about us, how we can build things together. We are seeing that in different countries, where the larger system integrators, they see Zoho as a platform. I have got this particular department. Can I build something on top of you, right? So there is that general curiosity, and this is what I would say organic growth, right? So there is that curiosity because they are hearing from their customers, why aren't you talking about Zoho, right? And that's our goal, right? So we want to build our brand as well. So brand recognition is still a challenge in our region here. It's very different to what Zoho is known in India or in Middle East, where Zoho has almost become like a go-to brand for business applications. Here we are building it. So there are these, I think, wish list items. It's Christmas time, so I can definitely wish.
That it is. Yeah, that it
Yeah.
is. And it's not only Christmas time, it's also the time
Yeah.
for today.
Yeah.
So amazing that we are already again on top of the hour.
Yeah.
So thanks, Suvish, for what all that you shared, which is quite a lot actually. And yeah, enjoy the season. Enjoy your upcoming trip to India. I hope you can get a little to your own home as well during that trip. And next week, we are diving a little deeper into the gap between the CMO and the CRO with our guest Priscilla McKinney of Little Bird Marketing, so a fellow podcast hoster and marketing specialist who uses the wrong system for her endeavors. Well, from my side, the wrong system, and it works for her, of course. So let's tune in there. Thanks to everybody who still is there, and see you next week.
Thank you very much.
Take care.